And now, Lifestyles Unlimited presents the Real Estate Investor Radio Show. Over the next hour, we unfold your map to financial freedom. You'll learn how to retire through investing in single-family and multifamily real estate. You'll learn how to create cash flow and build wealth so you can have the time and money to live the lifestyle you want.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is Andy Webb with Lifestyles Unlimited. And as always, we're working on your financial freedom. And I'm bringing on some help today. I'm joined by an experienced single-family rental investor, and we're going to hear her story. She's done a lot in the last six and a half or so years, and I want to get some background, and she does self-manage her single-family portfolio, so I want to get into that. And I get a lot of questions on operations, things around operating single family. We'll get into that probably in the latter half of the show. So maybe we can get some of your questions that I've had over the past few weeks and months answered from her perspective as well. So without further ado, Mikayla, I want to welcome you to the show. How are you?
Hey, Andy. Good morning. Yes, thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on. I do appreciate it. I know you and I have met over the years. Expo comes to mind. I remember seeing you with your two kids at the Expo multiple years and having conversations. So I know you've been following a similar trajectory, and I'm glad to bring you on. Now, I know a little bit of your background, but the listener probably doesn't have any idea. Can you maybe tell us what you were doing before getting involved with real estate investing? Maybe tell us when you got involved, got started, and why.
Yeah, so my husband and I, a pretty traditional family, two kids, single family home that we live in. I went to school, went and earned my doctorate in occupational therapy. So I've been practicing as an OT in a major hospital system since 2006. And then Peter has been in banking. He went and got his bachelor's in finance. He got the master's in business because he just wasn't happy with what he was doing. He was always trying to find something that just kind of fulfilled his passion. And let's see, about 4 or 5 years ago, he went back to flight school and is now a regional pilot.
Hey, very cool. I as a skydiver, I love pilots. So,
and why would you jump out of a perfectly good plane?
If you've been in the airplanes I've been in, Mikayla, they are not. They're far from perfect. But I know he's flying the good ones. He's got passengers, all that fun stuff. So, hey, so you guys have a really good pedigree. I mean, I should call you Dr. Mikayla, it sounds like, really. And great background, great career trajectory, but you decided you needed a change. What was the motivation there?
So the catalyst was that I was working more and more weekends of overtime to help pay for, flight training school and to just, pay for our expenses, get our house paid off, to be able to do like the right trajectory for our family as, I was taught and grown up. And, we had two kids. They were all in daycare. We were paying buku's amount of money for daycare every year. And, Peter and I we got tired. And I was just looking at our tax returns one year, and I was like, oh my gosh, I made just a little bit too much in overtime. Now we don't get any of these deductions. We're just working harder and harder. And I just didn't like how our life was going, commuting an hour to work each way and then having someone else raise the kids because that's what we had to do. And I just exhausted, to be honest with you. And I felt like, oh my gosh, if this is what it is for the rest of my life, this is hard. It's really stressful. I would say what changed was when Peter started listening to some real estate investing podcasts. And then he knows me. The way he kind of educates me about something is to slowly start playing these things in the background. Occasionally saying, oh, hey, did you listen to that? Slowly start bringing things up. And then I was on maternity leave with our youngest, and he said, Mikayla, I know you go on walks every day. What I'd like for you to do is just listen to some of these real estate investing podcasts. And he downloaded on my phone. He's like, I'm going to ask you questions about it when I come home. I'm like, oh,
wow.
Accountability. Yeah. And then I started to understand more, and I got more education, more background. And when we saw a tax return of someone who was invested in real estate, single-family homes, and how it offset their W-2 income, that was my light bulb moment. I was like, okay, I get it. I really get it.
How did you hear about the organization? Are these some of the podcasts that Peter had you listen to?
Yeah, Peter did have me listen to some of those. He was listening as well. But also, it was also word of mouth. A few people had mentioned Lifestyles Unlimited, that he should check it out. And I think it was on the second time a different person had said, check out Lifestyles Unlimited. It's a real estate investing mentorship education group in Dallas. Then he started delving a bit further in that. And it was in December that he signed us up for the introduction class, and we went to that, and then we signed up for the 2-day class. Mind you, our kids are little, so Genevieve's like 4, Michael's less than 1, and we paid a babysitter to stay with the kids all weekend so we could just focus on just getting this information. As someone who's very education-oriented, I really wanted to know more information so that way I could make a very educated decision on what would be best for our family.
Would you agree that the 2-day Financial Freedom Seminar is nothing but information, a lot of information?
Oh, I mean, I would say it rocked my world in a good way, in that it opened my eyes that there's other ways of doing things, other ways of taking care of our family that might not be the conventional way that I was taught growing up, but it can make sense for our family, and we can make new choices for our family based upon the information that we've got. And yeah, it was a ton of info, but it really opened my eyes to what possibilities are out there.
Yeah, and just for the listener's sake, I want to give you a couple of websites. You mentioned the free workshop is where you got your introduction. We do those 100% online. When I joined, I had to drive down to the offices. You probably did too. It's fully online. It is live, so you can interface with the presenter. And if you go to our website, lifestylesunlimited.com, there's a link there. You can register, figure that out. That's a good intro. But then you, like I did as well, went to the Financial Freedom Seminar. And I want the listener to understand here as well. You and I today, we're talking single family. That's going to be what we talk about on the bulk of the show. That's what we both do, although we've both made our forays into multifamily. And at the 2-day, we talk about both of those. The first day is largely single family. The second day, apartments. So whether you're interested in houses or apartments, we got both of those on those 2 days. Who was the presenter back then when you went out?
Oh, it was David Fisher. And I tell you, he's such a great presenter. We're just so focused in, and he's got a great way of using humor and information. And for me, that's the way my brain works. And so it stuck, what he was presenting. I was able to understand it.
Yeah, he's been in this business a long time. His mentor back when he started was Del Walmsley. Del Walmsley is the founder of Lifestyles Unlimited. He founded the organization over 3 decades ago. And Mikayla, I don't know if you've seen the email or heard the news, but the coming month in November, actually Del Walmsley's going to be here in Dallas-Fort Worth. He's going to host the case study on November 16th. That's a Thursday. And then he's going to lead the 2-day that following weekend. That's November 18th and 19th. So I'm excited about that. I'm hoping I can get a seat, But, hey, there are other people that probably not been to the organization, not been to the 2-day. I hope you guys get a seat, maybe more importantly.
Thank you.
And Dell is just phenomenal. He was my presenter. He taught the class when we joined back in 2012. So Dell, great. Obviously, David Fisher, great. We have other financial freedom seminar presenters as well. And you can do this online, by the way. If you're catching me now or catching me on the podcast later, and you're out of state, you can attend these virtually. I'll give you a website a little bit later in the show for that. But good stuff. So David got you over the hump, or did he? Did you join that day? What happened?
Well, not on the first day, and honestly, not even during the presentation on Sunday, because I'll give you a little background. Peter's very much, if he thinks something is a good deal, good for the family, makes logical sense, he goes forward with it. I'm more like a donkey.
Don't call yourself a donkey, though. Come on.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm very much a type B. I was more afraid of change at that time. Yeah. And basically we left, and it was a very quiet ride towards the home. And it was about 10 or so miles down the road, and we started talking, and I go, Peter, like, I don't know. I'm nervous, but I know what we're doing isn't working. I'm tired. We're frustrated. Nothing's changing. It's just getting worse with working more overtime and having more expenses and taxes and less family time. And he's like, okay, so what's your idea? And I'm just like, I don't know. And another mile or so down the road, I go, okay, turn around. And we turned around and went back and rejoined up.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
I mean, hey, if the pain of staying the same is worse than the pain of change, then it's time to change. And then that was my moment. It was time to change.
That right there is something for the listener to take away and think about, because I know there are a lot of people that are in the position you were in then, with the brake lights for an hour going to work, the brake lights for an hour coming home from work, overtime, not seeing the family, not working on weekends, missing the kids. I mean, it's too much. Yeah. It gets to be too much. Now, you've done a lot since those first two houses and since joining in 2017. We're going to be heading up against a break here in just a little bit. I want to get to the punchline, because you are no longer working overtime, working on weekends. You found the exit door. When did you become real estate retired?
Last year.
Very good.
41.
Hey, congratulations. I love it. And so Peter's flying the friendly skies, doing what he loves to do. You're out of that corporate environment doing what you love to do. And am I correct? You do self-manage your properties. I want to make sure that I got that right.
Yes.
Okay.
We do self-manage, and I do enjoy that.
Okay, very good. So for the listener, I want you to stick around. We're going to take a break. We're getting towards the middle of the show. And when we come back, what I want to do, Mikayla, is hear about maybe your last single-family investment. When's the last house you bought?
The last one we bought was this year. We did 2 this year and 5 last year.
2 this year, 5 last year. Those phenomenal. We're going to pick up on one of those after the break, hear about that, maybe hear about the rehab, the renovations, and then we'll get into operations. I want to hear how you run your business, so stick around.
Got questions? Call Lifestyles Unlimited at 855-497-4335. The Real Estate Investor Radio Show continues next.
You can't be financially free if you're psychologically imprisoned by disabling belief systems.
Are you ready to break free from your disabling belief systems about money, real estate, retirement, and financial freedom? Then join us for Lifestyles Unlimited's live online free workshop. Learn the belief system that thousands of people like you have used to break free from corporate America and create the lives they have always wanted. Register at lifestylesunlimitedfreeworkshop.com.
Creating the lifestyle you've always wanted. You're hearing Lifestyles Unlimited's Real Estate Investor Radio Show.
Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Andy Webb, and I am joined by fellow single-family investor from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, just like I am, Mikayla. And Mikayla, we've heard a lot of your story so far. Bought the first two houses in 2017 before becoming a member at Lifestyles. We don't need to go into the details there, but you mentioned that having then become a member, had you known what you know now, could have saved you a lot of heartache and maybe some money. But you've gone on to do a lot. Just ahead of the break, you mentioned 5 houses last year, the year that you retired from corporate America. 2 houses this year. We're going to get into those. And for the listener, before I forget and get to the end of the show and run out of time, I want to give you a website. We mentioned the 2-day financial freedom seminar, and Mikayla, I just mentioned that Del Walmsley himself will be here in Dallas to teach that in November. You can learn more if you go to the website Give Me Total Freedom. That's all written together, givemetotalfreedom.com. You can sign up there. It's already pre-populated for a 2-year membership. I just checked this out, and if you use the promo code, all caps, SAVEBIG, SAVEBIG, that 2-year membership is just $297. I don't know what you paid in 2017, Mikayla. For us, it was $500 for 1 year. You know, we got to see Del, and we were inspired, and we took action, which was great. But boy, huge opportunity. Whether you think you want to do houses or apartments, this is the 2-day to get out to. So go check that out, givemetotalfreedom.com. Now, you did do that. You went to the 2-day with David, came away, started buying houses. You've got up into double digits now. That's great. You said 5 last year, the year of your retirement, a couple this year. Maybe pick one of those out and tell us what that investment broadly looked like. Big rehab, little rehab, where was it roughly? Maybe some details for us. Okay.
So I'll talk about one of the houses from this year. It was bought in Arlington, Texas. It's one that we did a road trip on. And it was a big rehab in that we basically fixed everything in the house. So new plumbing, electrical, hot water heaters. We just want to make sure that the houses are put together correctly for our families because we want to serve them the best way possible. And so fixing everything up front, we rewired, replumbed, and thinking back to when I started, that would have been something that would have caused me concern. Oh no, new plumbing. Oh, a broken pipe. But really, it's not a problem when you fix things right and you have it in your scope of work for the contractor to do, and that's something you plan on doing because you don't want a headache later on. And being involved on the job sites are great because I know what work is being done, and then I can also communicate that to the families that are interested in the properties because I've seen the house since acquisition doing the entire rehab, and I can confidently explain to the families what all major systems of the house have been replaced so they can be confident in their choice to rent from us.
Yeah, what was the age of this one?
Oh, geez, I think that one, it was in the 60s. 50s,
60s, yeah. I mean, the older we go with our houses, the more of these bigger ticket items we may have to replace. But to your point, this is a numbers game. And you mentioned the word scope of work. We put together what that rehab or those renovations are going to look like, and we just make sure our purchase to the value spread is large enough that we can get in and out with a good out of pocket and make a profit from the outset because we make money 5 ways. It's not just the cash flow that I know you're getting off this house, but that equity capture from the outset. And I like how you describe that. You're serving these families. So what are you doing? You're putting the best product on the market for them by addressing all of these issues up front. By the way, Mikayla, that doesn't just help them. What does that do for your maintenance ongoing down the road?
Oh, it makes it easier because then I don't have headaches. And then if you fix stuff before somebody moves in, you don't have angry tenants because their water is not working because you didn't fix the pipe or stuff goes out. So it's just being very conscientious and thoughtful with how we do our rehabs on our properties.
And I'm curious, you mentioned that when you began 6 or so years ago, you would not have taken on a project of this size. That first house that you bought, you said it was on the MLS, which tells me it was probably in decent shape. What kind of rehab, if any, did you have to do back then?
Oh, Oh, geez. Back then, no, we didn't rewire. I think we might have put in an electrical panel box, and that was a big deal for us back then. And a few broken pipes after the foundation was fixed and stuff shifted, and just flooring, paint, and we put in new cabinets and appliances in the kitchen.
Cosmetic.
And for us, that was big, but our projects are on a much different scale, and it doesn't faze us anymore.
Yeah, you've gotten the education, you've gotten the experience as well alongside your mentors and the realty team and so on here at Lifestyles. And that allows you to take on a bigger project and take on a bigger pool of possible acquisitions. I think that's the bigger
Correct.
point, especially right now where inventory, quite frankly, it's lower out in the market. If you're able to take a broader approach, take a broader brush, well, you're going to have more opportunity. And we heard 5 last year, a couple this year so far. Very good stuff. Yeah. And you said something early on. You said that this house is in Arlington and that you hosted a single family road trip at that property earlier in the year. What is that? What is a single family road trip?
So a single family road trip is where members can come out and view a house that is, say, in the middle of rehab, or one of the other members owns and is currently renovating or in some sort of stage of renovation. And what I liked was that I was able to host this road trip, and this house was tore up. Like, it's slab foundation, that means there's no crawl space, and we had dirt piles in the middle of the floors. The walls were down to studs in several other rooms. There was wiring being ran. It was in the middle of a complete repipe, new electrical, all that stuff. And I saw the looks on some of the new members' faces who haven't done a house yet, and they were terrified. But what was nice is that we were able to show, hey, yeah, it looks kind of crazy, might be a little scary to you right now, but this is okay. This is okay, and that you're going to have a great product when you get done.
So how are you, whether it's at the start when you've just bought it or maybe when you do a resident turn, how are you getting the information out to the population that, hey, this beautiful house is coming to you soon? What are you doing?
So basically, I will use the photos post-rehab. I use a property management software that I also use for leasing, and then I just click a button that says advertise, and then it just blasts it out to all the different websites, and there's a phone number for them to call. I've got information all on the website, and it's actually pretty easy.
Another big topic that I get questions on quite a bit is on picking that resident, screening that resident. Would you agree that's probably one of the more important things that we do, isn't it?
Correct. You have to do your due diligence. Ask questions about how they keep up their current home, and you get a way to know the families that are there, so that way you can meet their needs effectively.
You and I have a conversation at the expo. I mentioned I've run into you there numbers of times over the years. And we have conversations about, hey, who's your latest and greatest? Who is the plumber that you're using in Arlington or wherever in Texas, right?
Lifestyles members are so eager to help each other with that latest and greatest person who's great at maintenance in specific areas.
Other key operational things, maybe golden nuggets you've taken away from the 2-day or any of the other events you've gone to at Lifestyles, Mikayla?
I would say just having that good scope of work where you have what you know you want the building to be like, the house to be like when you get done. Just really doing the tenant screening, background checks, credit reports, really finding out who's going to be occupying this asset that you've got. And so that way you get the right family in who's going to take care of it. And I would just say you've got more capability than you may think you have. And learning with time, things get easier, and it's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. Yeah, absolutely. And what you don't know now, you learn by going to events at Lifestyles Unlimited, like the single family road trip. I'm sure you had a lot of conversations after the formal walkthrough over lunch or whatever with other members about just what you're doing, didn't you?
Yeah, tons of questions, and met up with other members to just kind of help dispel those fears and just let them know, hey, there's been times I've contacted mentors, hey, this is what I came across, what's been your experience? And we really have a family approach at Lifestyles where we want everybody to succeed. So we're willing to take the time to help talk through some of those situations so people feel confident and comfortable they have a solution.
Yeah. Speaking of family, I mentioned Expo a few times. I don't have the dates for you yet. I know they've got those nailed down. We'll wait to see when we put those out there. But I've always seen you at the Wealth and Passive Income Expo with your two kids. How are they absorbing all of this? I know they're a little bit younger, but are they involved at all, or how do you work this background in with them?
Yes. So basically, our daughter is 10. She can tell you the 5 ways you make money with real estate. The kids started going to open houses and construction sites when the youngest was 1.5 years old. And so basically, they understand that we provide very good housing for families. It's provided us opportunities to travel. I can now walk them to the bus stops. We get more family time. But they realize that the real estate is the way that we provide a better quality of life for ourselves, but also for the families who are living in the homes, and also for the neighborhood. We've been able to help elevate the neighborhood because you're investing into the community and making it better.
Yeah, 100%. Very good. What are we're getting a little lower on time here. Thinking forward, did a lot of deals last year, good number this year. What are your goals for the next couple of years for the future?
We'd like to keep continuing with the single family because we're enjoying that. I am invested in one multifamily deal as a passive, and if in the future a smaller IRO deal, independent rental operator deal comes available, that's something I'm willing to look at as well.
Okay, small apartments. Yeah, anything from 5 and up, that's considered apartments, multifamily, commercial. I guess commercial loans go on those, so great way to go. Clearly, you are a good operator. I'm hearing good things from you. You've learned a lot from Lifestyles, applying those well, and that will translate very well into operating apartments on your own as well. So for the listener, hey, if that's what you're thinking about and you're not quite sure, well, it does start with education. I've given you a few websites throughout the show. One more I want to give you. I mentioned the case study in November. Del Walmsley will be up here to host that. You can learn more if you go to LU Case Study. That's LU like a Lifestyles Unlimited. LUCasestudy.com. See the dates, register there. And Mikayla, I'm making sure I get out to that one. I'll probably have my little guy in tow, same age as yours. So we gotta get these guys together, man. Young investors ready to conquer the world. Great information today. I do thank you for coming on and for sharing your story with us. I find it very inspirational. And again, congratulations on retiring last year. Great news. To listener, take some action. That's all you got to do. Thank you for listening. You have a great day.
The information and opinions you hear on the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show are those of the hosts, guests, and callers. The Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a professional regarding your personal investment needs. Nothing presented constitutes an endorsement, recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or security.